Greetings, salutations, and other big words. My name's Ethan. My handle is Wrangler. Welcome to Frequency Studios. Weekly Wing It number 99 here on Rumble and YouTube. And starting it off with us tonight, we got Maji-chan. Maji, how are you?
Hey, what's up? Let me know if the background noise gets a little too loud.
Okay, I'm not noticing it at all, so.
Hey, Fu Man.
Yeah, so today is Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. And so I'll keep in mind those who served our country, those who have protected us. And, you know, we hear the slogan all the time. Some gave some and some gave all. Let's not forget that, just to make sure that we have a homeland where we're free and secure. So question is, what are we doing with it? Over in the chat, we got Blue Man Blue. All right, he's here to troll us. Nobody can troll better than Fu Man Blue. And
dude, is
said,
that
Hello, Maji? What was that, Maji?
Fu Man's pictures, Jay.
Oh, yeah. What have you been up to, Maj?
Just trying to survive. We're heading into the holiday season, so I'm going to be pretty much a ghost.
Yeah, I was surprised to see you because I know what time of year it is. I know what you do for work, and usually you're overloaded this time of year.
Yeah. I worked a stupid shift today, so I was able to come in me.
Yeah. Well, Maji, have you heard there's this thing going on, this movement? I heard about it. It was mentioned on Tim Pool's show today, and I also heard it talk about a little more in depth on Nefarious' stream last night. If you guys haven't heard of Nefarious, I'll drop his link in the chat in a little bit. You got to check out his channel. He's got a great channel. But I typically don't delve too much into politics here, but this is just madness. Fu says, me and J.A.
Nice.
I got Captain J, Krista, and Beardo.
Beardo would be fun to meet.
Yeah, he met
so
up
with Jay.
Them down in I think Fu, was it the Texas Comic-Con? He invited me to go along. I couldn't make the travel. I kind of operating you know the Firefly, that ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, my life is kind of like that. I'm barely holding it together as I'm flying along. San Antonio.
Nice.
Says, yeah, I'm on the G&G stream of the event. Oh, nice. Yeah, well, anyway, this is kind of nuts. This is on AOL. The article is from the New York Post. Women furious about Trump's win start MATGA, M-A-T-G-A movement, which glorifies poisoning men. They asked.
What the hell?
Yeah,
I heard about the no sex thing, but that's...
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought that was a good thing. It's like, well, we're going to practice abstinence. Yes!
Probably a good thing.
That's how you do it. But... all right, here we go. Women online have taken to filming ghoulish murder fantasy videos in which they romanticize lacing men's beverages with deadly poison as a justifiable response to fears about abortion rights under a second Donald Trump presidency.
So if we see a rise in the purchase of castor beans, we know to be concerned.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, which I don't understand all this outrage. First of all, I thought Trump was pro-choice. Second of all, if they're upset over the Roe versus Wade being overturned, that's actually constitutional. See, the federal government only has the authority to do what the Constitution grants it. Since authority on this issue has not been granted by the Constitution, it is then up to the individual states. The overturn of Roe versus Wade was simply kicking the decision back to the states. Now, in states where most of the people want it to be, then it will continue. Nothing really changes. In states where the people don't want that to be, and hardly anybody is going to get any, then they won't have it. So nothing really changes. It's just putting whoever's calling the shot, it's up to the individual state, not the federal government. So I don't understand why they're all upset about it. Let's see. All right. Many videos have been viewed millions of times on X or TikTok and feature young women fiendishly grinning as they adulterate a cup of tea or other drink with an unknown substance. Some of the women have dubbed the videos as part of a Make Aquatofina Great Again, MACA movement, a nod to both President-elect Trump's campaign slogan, Make America Great Again, and the ancient killer, Julia, is it, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Is it Julia? Julia Tofana, who has been adopted as the disturbed group's heroine. But Tofana was a 17th century Italian woman who sold poison to wives who wished to dispatch their abusive husbands, resulting in the death of more than 600 men. So, yeah, class act to follow. I mean, I as far as abusive husbands go, not cool. Get away from them. But, you know, you don't have to go the whole Alabama divorce route. Tofana's signature brew was a mishmash of deadly ingredients such as arsenic and belladonna, known as Aqua Tofana, a concoction that was so effective she is considered by many today one of the most prolific serial killers of all time. That's, wow. The poison, believed to be a flavorless and completely undetectable after death, was typically stored in ordinary cosmetic bottles, ensuring that the husband who was about to get whacked would be none the wiser to his impending fate. One of the online clips shows a young lady with green hair, a backwards camo hat, and a large spiked septum ring. That's the nose ring, right?
I have no idea. I don't pay attention to that kind of shit.
With text, Aqua Tofana isn't that hard to make, superimposed over the footage of her making the throat slitting gesture with her thumb. In fact, we're going to go take a look at that. We pop over to here. All right, this is Dr. Deborah Fauche's posted this video. It says, if you see MATGA, it stands for Make Aquatofina Great Again. Aquatofina was a poison used to kill abusive husbands in the 1600s, and it's making a comeback. Now, I would like to assume that making this video was all done tongue-in-cheek, but things are kind of nuts these day and ages, and I wouldn't take anything for granted now. So I'll probably have to mute this because they start playing music in the background, but let's check out this video.
Your body, our choice. I got that.
Yeah, I got to keep that or else we're going to get pegged for copyright. But
At least your last copyright pig got away or went away.
you know what? Oh, wait, I don't think I had a copyright ping. I had a terms of service violation ping.
Oh, gotcha.
Which, all right. I got to bring the sound back up.
Wait, will this violate the terms of service? We're talking violence here.
We're reporting the news is what we're doing at the moment. We're obviously not advocating for this. In fact, I would hope nobody in their right mind would advocate for this.
No, harm upon a human being is friggin' messed up.
All right, here we go.
Aqua Tofana. Am I right? Aqua Tofana. If you know, you know.
She looks way too happy about that.
Wait to hit him with the snare and the bass square in the face.
Here's where I gotta mute it.
What is with all the freaking weird music?
See, the caption here says, I've got an idea, girls. Let's wear blue friendship bracelets. I guess the nose ring wasn't a good enough signifier. I shouldn't say that. Not everybody who wears a nose ring is nutsoid. But it sure does seem to, a lot of the nutsoids do seem to love that look. I don't know why. Aqua Tofana tattoos. Okay. On an unrelated note, are you ladies interested in investing in poison rings? Yeah, yep, she's got the nose ring too. Ironically, the first place I've heard about these things was D&D. And this, for those just, oops, let me back that up. For those who are just listening, this caption says, "My
Hey,
advice for
Christina.
American women, I know will understand this." And yeah, they're showing off their rings with a little compartment that flips open. And she's demonstrating it flips open very easily. And look at that smile. Why do they look so happy about this? You got to admit, to sit here and talk about killing people and get that kind of a grin is a little unnerving. Let's hear what.
Speaking to me is a privilege.
This is the
You
green-haired
do
chick that
not
was mentioned in the
have
article.
Privileges.
Barely can wait to hit him with the snare in the face, square in the face. This fucking world better prepare to get laced.
Yeah, she's got the nose ring too. It seems to be a uniform. What do you think, Maji? Has the world lost it?
Yeah, I think. Well, granted, this is probably more pop and circumstance than anything else, but
I would like to think so. Yeah. It's just-
here's the thing. Unfortunately, so many people have grown up behind a screen. They can't tell fact from reality anymore, or reality from fiction. So, yeah, it's they think that that they're probably playing around, or it's not that big of a deal, or whatnot, but they don't realize they're actually threatening harm against a human being. It's not just some rando behind a computer that you're playing PvP against or something stupid.
Yeah, I mean, if they were saying these things in, say, a Call of Duty lobby room, that's one thing, because talking crap back and forth in there is part of the game. In fact, I think they're going for the high score of who could have the most vulgar and insulting language possible. If they weren't talking trash there, I'd be worried. Christina's joined us. She says, "Hello, I'm jumping in to say hi." Let's see. Fu Man Blue says, "They don't know the law. They just listen to The View." Whoopi knows best. And he confirms septum equals nose. Yes. And Christy backs him up on that. Okay, she corrected me on the pronunciation of Tafana's name. It's Julia. Christina says she has 2 poison rings. That does not surprise me. You are probably born wearing those things, Christy.
Yeah, but Christy doesn't parade around the internet like a bimbo threatening to poison somebody because a certain somebody got into office. Come on.
Now, she would be too afraid to load those rings up. She's afraid her cats would start playing with the rings, and she doesn't want her cats to get hurt. Believe me, her cats will bat anything around.
Oh yeah, cats are cats. They are the children of evil. They just pretend to be cute.
Christy asked, "Does that mean I wasn't supposed to smirk and giggle?" Well, apparently that would be right on brand. That's what they were all doing. See, Fu says the septum ring does make it easier to lead them around.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna put on some Chill Kid while we yap.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm actually playing a game right now, trying not to die.
What game you got playing right now?
I'm playing Throne and Liberty in the background. I'm actually on a dungeon boss right now with a bunch of randos.
Yeah. So I don't know what makes them think that this is okay, because even if they're just being tongue in cheek, presenting it that way in a world where people are clearly off their rocker, somebody's going to try this
their
crap.
damn minds.
Yeah. Somebody's going to try this, and at what point is it going too far? I'm all for free speech, but I mean, saying these things just out there like that, I mean, they're going to get themselves in trouble. Somebody else is going to take it serious. somebody's going to wind up in the hospital or worse, and it's going to come back and bite them in the butt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, am I wrong at Christy? Fu Man Blue asks. Christy says, not at all. I think he's referring to the septum ring, making it easier to lead them around.
Yeah.
At least I think they have a good enough sense for these septum rings to not be magnetic.
I hope so.
Unless they like that sort of thing. Who knows these days? So, hey, I saw a video from A Drink with Crazy yesterday.
Oh yeah, I saw he posted one, but I haven't.
Yeah, and it was about my favorite video game company, Nintendo.
Oh. Nintendo
So-
trying to go after Power World again?
Uh-huh. So, hat tip to Royce from A Drink with Crazy, and let me... Comic Shop Wednesdays. Weekly live stream starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, hosted by Royce from A Drink with Crazy, where he goes over upcoming books, comics, games, and more. Link in the description. Yeah, he's the only reason I know about this article. This might even be the same one that he was reading. Let me bring this up. This is not news I like to report.
Okay.
Let's see. Christy says, I can't close my thumb. Freaking bear. He bit into it so hard. Yeah, Bear's one of her cats. He was hanging on it, thinking I was Odin. Odin is another one of her cats, so yeah. You don't stick your hands in the middle of cats horse playing unless you want to get shredded, Christy. You know that. Yeah, she doesn't care. She'll do it anyway. She's like, I'll heal. All right, let me get that article up here. All right. This is from Nintendo Life by Ollie Reynolds. Nintendo's lawsuits against Pal World is a clear case of bullying, says analyst. Nikolai's here? Oh, let me pop over this tab.
He sounds like he's popped in, say hi, and popped out.
Nikolai! We had fun gaming yesterday. He says, you guys have fun? Good night. Yeah, I'm surprised to see him on here at all because it's like dumb 30 a.m. where he is right now, probably.
Dumb 30.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's got to be early morning where he is, so I'm surprised to see him up. Okay. Patent analyst Florian Mueller has released an extensive examination into the lawsuit filed against Pal World developer Pocket Pair from Nintendo. In it, he describes Nintendo's actions as a clear case of bullying against Pocket Pair, citing the former's status as a far older and larger company with extensive experience in patent prosecution and patent infringement litigation. And he thanks Game Rant here. I see. It was recently revealed that Nintendo would be seeking an injunction against Pal World to halt the sales in Japan, with the additional possibility of Nintendo looking to escalate the dispute into further jurisdictions. The company is also seeking payment of 5 million yen, with an additional 5 million going to the Pokemon Company, totaling an equivalent of around 66 grand. Although the monetary damages are said to be negligible, it is the injunction that could hold the most long-term significance. So, he goes on to say, the problem, as highlighted by Mueller, is that Nintendo has not identified a single patent that actually existed at the time of Power World's release, and has instead chosen to file updated patent applications from 2021 in February, March, and July of this year,
So in other
and
words,
expedite them in Japan's
patents.
ports.
Yeah, they filed the patents after it came out, after it's too late.
Yes, and that's the part that's disturbing. Nintendo, you're my favorite gaming company. I love you, but there's stuff like this that makes me go, you give me a case of the face palms. And this one's making me face palm so hard, I'll get red marks on my forehead.
Well, yeah, the U.S. wouldn't accept that. I don't know what Japan's patent laws are, but the
Yeah.
U.S. patent laws won't let that fly because they have grandfathered claused in.
Right. And me being a Metroidvania fan, it makes me worry because Nintendo pretty much invented the Metroidvania, the search action platformer. And the majority of indie games are Metroidvanias.
Yeah.
So how far will they take this? Are they going to start shutting down pretty much all upcoming Metroidvanias if this happens? If they get this to work, what other things were they going to start shutting down? And it's like, and it sucks seeing this from my favorite video game company. Excuse me. I understand they want to protect their IP. They want to protect a lot of their stuff. However, Power World does not infringe on their IP that I'm aware of.
No. Well, here's the thing. We're also dealing with international here. So, part of the situation is, according to U.S. trademark, 70% or higher has to be different. So, there could be some similarities, but as long as the majority of it is different, it's not accepted. But some countries, there's like, nope, even the smallest resemblance, you're in trouble.
I mean, what can you really do in a game nowadays that hasn't been done somewhere before in some shape or form? I mean, you might have new spins on it or whatever, but pretty much anything you come up with. I mean, I could be wrong. They could come out with a new mechanic that just blows us all away in the next year and a whole bunch more. I mean, sometimes we have this bad habit of until we see something, we can't think of it. But I mean, for the most part, you look at any kind of video game that comes out, new or otherwise, we've seen some version of that done before in some way, shape, or form.
Well, it's kind of like book covers. If we're getting to the point where odds of a book cover overlapping are pretty high.
Yeah. A lot of them kind of are getting samey. It's like they got some line art design on there and the line, and it's just words. They don't even use pictures much, a lot of the newer ones, I think.
Yeah, a lot of them are very simplistic, very minimalistic. You can actually tell just looking at book covers a lot of times what year they were made because of the style behind them.
Yeah. I mean, even romance books used to have cooler book covers than they do now. It used to be that you look at a book cover and there's Fabio standing there dressed like a pirate and the love interest tied up to the mast or something weird like that. But I mean, at least it was conveying something. Now it's just,
yeah,
I don't know.
I got one for you. So, Clownfish TV did a piece on this about 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And it's kind of blown up since then. So, you know how Disney is releasing the movie Wicked next week, right?
Yeah. Have a good night, Christy.
It's already gotten a bunch of flack. But the newest, oh shit, was actually kind of funny. So, they released a whole entire line of dolls. We're talking Barbie-style dolls here from the characters Wicked. Well, on the back of the box, there's a QR code and a website that kids could go to and stuff so that they can learn where they could see the movie. Well, according to Clownfish TV, 4 days ago, they typed in the website that's on the back of the box of these toys.
Yeah.
And it's a porn site.
What?
Yeah, so this website itself is wicked.com. The website that was supposed to be on the box that Mattel didn't print correctly was supposed to be wickedmovie.com.
Oh.
And so...
I have a similar problem with my own stuff. So Disney does a lot of shady stuff. This is probably,
this is
for lack of better words,
an
an
honest
innocent
mistake, but it's still funny because now there is a nationwide recall on all these dolls, and you have all these grown-ups race into the stores trying to get to them before they're recalled
Because they're going to be collector's items now.
they're going to be collector's items because they're connected to a porn site.
Yeah, well, I as you know, you pointed it out. I kind of had a similar problem. My book, Haley Star, Bad Kitty. What happens if you look up Haley Star or Bad Kitty on their own and not together? Yeah, it goes to things that I want in no way connected to my stories. It's like, that's not related.
No, but it's just funny because of that. I actually had somebody go into work and buy out every single doll that we had before we could get the recall notification.
Scalpers. I mean, in a weird way, that is almost, it's not quite the same, but that is almost scalping.
It's just funny. Because you could tell it's a complete accident.
Yeah.
But that's more publicity Disney wants for their movie than they probably were hoping for.
Yeah, that's not the kind of publicity. They do enough oddball, weird publicity on their own. They don't need that. Oh, I forgot earlier. I'm going to put Nefarious' link to his YouTube channel in the chat. That dude is entertaining. Go check out his site when you get the chance. He also does music. He has a music channel as well, and he's making a video game. I think that's on seekingasylum.net.
Oh, nice.
Is the name of the web. Well, let me look that up now. I think it's .net. Let's see. Type in. Got it. Right tab. There we go. And boom. Okay, yeah. This right here. Yeah, that's his avatar you always see on his YouTube channel. The dude does the funniest. Yeah, the dude does the funniest social commentary. He's a riot. But he is making. His hoodie is available for merch now too. But he's got this game coming out, and I guess it's all their band members that are the player characters. It's called Seeking Asylum Night Shift.
It does remind me a lot of Ruby, though.
Now, Ruby meaning
The
a
show.
character? Or I'm not
show.
familiar with the show.
So, back when Rooster Teeth was actually good, they had a couple of their mainstream shows, Red vs. Blue and Ruby.
Okay, I
And-
remember Red versus Blue.
And, well, the first 4 seasons of Ruby was really good, and then unfortunately Monty passed away. Monty was the main creator and owner of Rooster Teeth.
Wasn't he also the guy who animated Red versus Blue?
Yes. So he animated a lot. He animated the fights for both shows. But then, unfortunately, Rooster Teeth got sold to Microsoft, and it went south fast. Like season 5 of Ruby completely lost direction of where it was going. Got really lesbo. It just went south as fast as it could go. And they never finished the series, and it actually pissed off a lot of fans because they really wanted to know where it was going.
That is unfortunate.
And so when Rooster Teeth got shut down, a lot of them were hoping that Ruby would be bought up, which it has. It got bought up by Gonzo or Gizzo, one of the 2 Japanese anime companies. And so it kind of sparked some hope in the Ruby fan base that they might actually, reverse some of the crap that they've added the last couple of seasons, which I stopped watching after season 5 because I could see where it was going.
Yeah.
And hopefully get an ending to the series, because it really is like the first 3 seasons that Monty had full say in how it went and how it went was written and everything. You could tell, even though it was a low budget GarageBand animation, was really good.
So it's still up in the air to see how that goes. They're like, we're waiting for that to come out.
Gonzo officially bought it just recently, but its fate's still up in the air.
All right, well, let's check out this game trailer. And I'm going to kill the music while we do this. All right, here we go. I think that character is Coleus. She appears as gag AI in a lot of his videos.
Good luck that I found you so quickly. But it might be too late.
Can you guys hear that?
Oh yeah.
You should not have gone through that door. That woman is not the owner of this building. And you're in great danger. Nefarious.
The music's good though.
You must find a way home.
Huh. That actually looks interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give that a shot at some point. Now, Fu Man Blue says one of the panelists that I like going to be on here.
I don't know.
You kind of
Depends
stuck
on
with
who you
us,
like.
Fu. But then, Kahuna's there in the chat with you, so there's one.
Kahuna!
What's up, Kahuna? How you doing? Yeah, Fu, if you think the show needs to be livened up a little bit, I could send you a link and you can hop on here with us.
Yeah, I
He's
didn't
probably
really
like-
have anything to talk about. I just logged in. I was kind of like, oh hey, regular show's on. Let me go say hi.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. I had a couple things put aside because, this being a conversational format show, and without other panelists, it kind of, Luckily, I had a couple of things put aside to discuss, to talk about, the articles there.
Mm-hmm.
But I've already gone through them, so this just might be a short show tonight.
Well,
But,
yeah, because everything is about what's going on in the election and stuff. And face it, not really into politics.
Yeah, but I did think it was worth bringing up the whole Matka thing there.
Yeah, that's
That's
people
weird.
are just stupid.
Yeah. What I still don't understand why they look so happy about it. It's like,
To them, it's a game. I don't think they realize the seriousness.
yeah, well, I hope it's just as simple as that, because there are some whack jobs out there. And I would like for all of those that we saw in that video to not be one of them.
Yeah,
And it's kind of weird. It's over the abortion thing, which technically isn't an issue because I think they're misunderstanding the overturn of Roe versus Wade. But it's like, if we can't kill a kid, we're going to kill our husband. I was like, why do you want to kill? There's enough killing. Want to kill something, kill a cow, and let's throw it on the grill. Let's have a barbecue. Let's do something fun and happy, not sick and
Yeah.
depressing.
I don't get people. Like I said, I don't get people.
Yeah, Fu Man Blue says he's sick tonight and sounds rough. Media is hyper focused right now.
It is very hyper focused. However,
Yeah.
some of the people that's hyper focused on totally 100% deserve the BS shit that they. Oh, did I say that out loud?
No, you just thought it real loud and we heard you. See, Fu says you covered pretty much everything I've heard in the last few days.
Yeah, I know. It's nuts.
And he says the madness of the abortion confusion is frustrating. Yeah, it really is, because again, Roe versus Wade was the overturn was simply putting the decision back into the hands of the individual states.
Mhm.
The states where they didn't want to get them to begin with, they weren't really getting them. And they'll probably say, well, we don't want it here. Well, they already had that. In the states where they do want it, they get to keep it. So nothing changes other than chain of command is put in back in proper order. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the way it's pushed. I keep hearing on the podcast they say they keep bringing this up again and again. It will eventually probably be brought to the Supreme Court to judge whether an unborn baby has human rights. And if they put it that way, they'll probably have to side with yes, which will just outlaw it completely. Personal opinion, I would not mind that. But I don't understand. It used to be it was pro-life or pro-choice. Now it's pro-life or pro-abortion. It's like, are we in a death cult? What's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like they're almost encouraging people to have them. It's like our birth rate is kind of dangerously low too, if not below replacement rate. Why are we encouraging this? I can't think of any logical reason we would want that. But Fu says, I hated that Trump had to keep wasting the time explaining his stance on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of that.
But
Yeah.
people were upset. I explained that to them. And they're like, oh, I guess that's no big deal then. You know?
So how about something happy? Kahuna and I got to hang out for my birthday.
Yeah.
And we went and saw with his kids Wild Robot. I honestly, part of me was a little afraid we were going to be beaten upside the head with global warming bullshit and all that fun stuff. But it was made by the same guys who did How to Train Your Dragon, so I put my faith into it because I love that movie along with Lilo and Stitch. So we went and saw. Oh my gosh, it's such a cute kid movie. It's got enough sarcasm that parents can appreciate.
And by the way, Stitch is still my favorite Disney character.
But yeah.
Eject the old shell. Reload. Okay.
But no, it was a good movie. Definitely safe to take kids to. It had a heart to it, and the sarcasm is pretty good for adults too. So,
Oh, if nobody minds spoilers, can you give us a little bit of a rundown of the movie?
sure.
That was a good
How to Train Your
rundown.
Dragon. It's good. Sorry, I read Fuman's comment. But no, okay. So it starts off. It starts off with otters. It's all the otters' fault. That's all we need to know. It's otters' fault.
Oh, we can always blame Otter. I'm always up for blaming Otter.
Well, no, that's how it starts. The movie starts with a couple of sea otters playing around. Looks like a crash site of some sort. And you activate this robot. It's one of those hat.
Oops, hang on. I started a tune and it kind of washed out your audio for a second. So it started off with otters and something crashed.
Well, you could tell it was some sort of crash site, whether it was a ship or a plane, you can't tell. But
The plane, boss. The plane, the plane.
So they accidentally turn on this robot, and this robot's designed to complete her task. Its task. It has a female voice.
Okay.
But it keeps scaring all the wildlife. It's completely on its own. It's in the wilderness somewhere on an island. And so it activates its learning system and tries to figure out how to communicate with the animals and eventually learns their speech text and stuff. So instead of just being like WALL-E, where it's just the robot walking around, she can actually communicate with them.
Wow.
Yeah. But she comes across and accidentally inherits a goose egg, and it hatches, and it thinks it's her mom, and the poor robot has no idea what to do. She runs into this cranky ass possum with a bunch of kids that's clearly had way too many litters in her life.
All right. So this is obviously on Earth, and the robot is from elsewhere.
No, the robot's just a human-made robot.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, so it's task, because the possum convinces her that that's her mission now, is to make sure the gooseling can swim, eat, and fly by winter. And so she basically takes on a role of a mom, even though she's a robot. It's an adorable movie.
So we had the geese, we had the otters, we had the possums,
There's a fox too.
a fox too. Any cats?
No, there's a big ass bear though.
No cats?
I don't think so. There might be a bobcat, but
Oh,
he's
right.
like
Now
one
we
of
have a
those
movie.
one-liners.
Well, if we have a bobcat, we have a movie. And this is what the bobcats can do. The cats are getting justice for Peanut.
Actually, I saw on YouTube somebody made a Peanut song where it's all the raccoons and squirrels coming together building an army in the woods.
That's awesome.
Like,
Hey,
completely
animation overload.
animated it and everything. So like the squirrels are building like little makeshift tents out of sticks, and they built together little tanks that roll.
Fu Man Blues get a point. Those cats really soak up that recoil. Yeah, they do. They're like unmovable. So I don't think you've seen this clip. So Maji, tell me, does the army look a little something? Hang on. There we go. Does the army look a little something like this?
It's the same old theme since 1916. Eeyore-head, they're still fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their guns. Eeyore-head, they are dying.
I'm looking for it. It was funny. It was cute.
Yeah, if you can find that, we'll throw that up on the screen before we close out.
Yeah, it's in my watch history somewhere. Oh, found it.
Sweet. You got the share screen option on you?
Do I? Good question.
You should be able to hit present down the. Are you on your phone or on the computer?
I'm on the computer, but let me skip this ad because I'm not cool enough to have.
Yeah, everybody's kind of scattered to the wind tonight. So, Animation Overload says, Kitten Team 6. And he asks, how's everyone doing? We're doing all right. But we're
Okay.
kind of scattered to the wind tonight, so it's just me and Maji for now. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to make it. Raven was hoping to be able to make it, but his appointment's probably going a little long. So,
All right, I got it.
and AC Pritchard, hey, good to see you, man. He says smash that like button, and I would appreciate it. Okay.
All right, we ready?
Yep.
Okay.
In the urban woods where city meets the green, lived critters in peace, a brotherhood serene. But shadows fell, a sorrow deep and raw. When Peanut and Fred were lost, they knew the cause. A tale of loss under the moon's pale light, a brotherhood bound by the dark of night. Their hearts in sync, they mourned the fall. United they would stand tall. Raccoons and squirrels, side by side they stand. For Peanut and Fred, they'll fight, they'll band together in arms. With vengeance in stride, for justice they march, in unity they ride. Their hearts beat as one, a force so bright. In their mission they'll chart the course through the night. Mark their keeper with a heart so true, love them like children as any would do. But fate was cruel under the moon's pale light. Now Mark's years fall as they fought for the fight. He shared his life, his home, his care. Now they fight for what they share. His love was pure, his grief profound. In their hearts his sorrow bound. Their tale is whispered in the wind's soft moan. For the love they lost, they'll never be alone. Their unity, a force untold. In the forest's heart, their stories roll. Through alleys and treetops, they prepare for war. Crafting weapons from scraps they've never done before. Not just for Peanut, not just for Fred, but for every future where love could be shed. They gather forces under night's dark shroud. For brotherhood, they'll stand proud. Their resolve is firm, their spirits high. For justice, they'll touch the sky. The enemy unknown, their resolve is strong. For every tear of March, they'll right the wrong. In the night's embrace, they'll make the city the stage. For those who wrong their kin, they'll turn the page. With stealth and cunning, they move unseen. For justice, they'll intervene. Their strategy, a silent might. In the cover of the night. In the shadows they plan, they scheme, they plot. With hearts of warriors, they'll give all they've got. For every nut, for every trash can feast, they'll make the perpetrators cease. Their bond, a tale of city lore, a testament to what they bore. Each step they take with courage bold, the story in the night unfolds. In the whispers of leaves, their stories unfold, of unbroken bonds in the fur and the cold. Together they'll conquer, together they'll mend. For the ones they've lost, this war they'll fend. Their tale, a legend that will grow, for in their hearts love will always flow. Their saga, in the forest's embrace, a narrative of love they'll trace. In the dawn's quiet, when the battle's done, they'll remember their brothers in song and sun. No more shall they suffer, no more shall they bleed. For Peanut and Fred, they know thanks their need. This song of war, of loss, of life, sung by the city's critters through day and night. For brotherhood, for love they shared, they fought, they bled, they cared. Their legacy, a song of fight.
That's
5
awesome.
words you pronounce wrong. 2 years before you.
That's awesome. Bad Sauce has joined us while that was going on. Beep, beep.
Hey,
My
Bad.
ride is here.
Hey, your F&T interview was fun, by the way. FNT fetch.
I know what you mean.
Iron Age Knights.
IAK.
Yeah.
But it was taking me a minute too, because I don't know why even obvious ones, acronyms screw me up. I hear somebody rattle off some acronyms, and I'm like,
Well, I
which
caught
ones
some
were
of
that?
it during lunch. I had to watch the replay after work.
Yeah, again, reference to Royce from Drink with Crazy over on Iron Age Nights with his co-host Daniel P. Riley and Justin of Everlay Music, and Bat Sauce, Justin's co-host from Iron Seas, was the special guest. So go check that out on his channel. Yeah, it was special. It was helmet special. But yeah, unfortunately, this is a bit of a short one. The rest of the panelists are scattered to the wind with other obligations tonight, so they couldn't quite make it on here. So we're probably going to wrap this up in a moment. Maji, I think we've already established this, but I'll ask one more time. Anything else you want to cover?
I'm
You're like,
I'm trying really hard not to go into the political stuff.
yeah, it's very difficult not to right now.
This week has been rough on that one, so
Yeah. It's like everywhere you look, even the least political of platforms out there is having, heck, we went into it, but what do you expect when you got a bunch of chicks saying we want to do the poison ring thing, and it's like,
yeah.
that is actually relevant because we talk a lot about the culture, the current state of our culture, and that kind of is relevant to what we talk about. And our culture needs some help. We have such a cool culture, it's just gotten skewed pretty bad.
I think it's trying to correct itself, though.
I hope so. We gotta keep some optimism, or else there's no point. Fu Man Blue says Harris's stepdaughter supposedly committed herself. I'll just go back to Bass House's comment. It was
Weirdo.
special.
Changed his picture to Beardo.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
And I'm so used to seeing the SG1 picture on his avatar. He says that's the headline. All right, let's look this up real quick and find out what's what.
I'm gonna apologize now if you hear button mashing. That's because the world boss spawns in like 2 minutes.
Oh, no problem.
I've been kind of chilling, waiting for him to spawn, but once it spawns, it's gonna get a little hairy. So I apologize now.
All right. New York Post article. Let's see. We get that up on the screen.
I really should just hook up my capture card to my PlayStation, but it's such
I still cannot get mine to work right, because if I plug in the capture card, I can get what's on screen to stream, but I can't speak with it.
See,
I cannot get my microphone to work.
See, I don't bother to put in any sound emulator or anything like that because odds of the gaming music getting it copyright anyway are pretty high. So I just leave it off and leave it directly to my mic.
Yeah, well, the weird thing is I can't turn it off. I tried it during one of Otter's stream, I think, or was it Frederick's stream? I don't know. It was a few weeks back. I plugged in. I had Metroid Dread keyed up, and I can only do it through OBS. But once I put the OBS virtual camera through, it's like all my audio just stops. But they could hear my game. They said it's way too loud. Turn it down. I muted everything. Everything I muted. I went on the Switch itself and turned the volume down on that. They could still hear it. It just would not stop. So it was it was a no-go. All right, this is New York Post by Giorgio Worrell. Ella Emhoff seemingly loses her mind over stepmom Kamala Harris losing presidency to Trump. Bad sauce, get those helmets ready.
Oh, shit.
Ella Emhoff appears to be losing her mind over stepmom's loss to Donald Trump in the presidential. So the first line is just the headline. I'm more interested in this fish tank over here in the corner. All right. Emhoff, 25, was photographed sobbing on the sidelines while Vice President Harris delivered her concession speech at Howard University on Wednesday. Less than 24 hours later, the lefty activist daughter, the New York Post described her as the lefty activist daughter. I'm surprised to see that kind of language in here, but of second gentleman Doug Emhoff posted one of the unflattering images of her crying during her speech to Instagram story, along with the caption, "Truly no words. We are all going to get through this. It just effing hurts like a bitch right now, and that's okay." All right, I hate it when they got the. It's broken up by so many links just to get to the next
Well, yeah, that's where
paragraph
they make
too.
their money.
Yeah. Just please check on your people right now, she wrote to her 503,000 followers. I never even heard of her before. She's got that many. I'm here for all of you and love you guys. Emhoff continued to whine Friday morning on her Substack series, Soft Pins, along with the image Homemade Crafts from Pinterest. Oof, what a week. I feel like we all need this extra this week, she began to post. Was she probably talking about the extra hour? The time change, I'm thinking. Yeah. I know we're all feeling a lot of emotions right now. That's normal. And it would be weird if we weren't. I know we have gone through about 10 cycles of sadness, rage, stress, and that was just this morning. There's like nothing interesting in this article.
I think she wants her 5 seconds of fame since, she's not going to.
And this is what she does with it?
I guess. I'm not sure.
All right. If I had 5 seconds of fame, I would spend it screaming, "Buy my book, buy my book." Herman taught me well. Buy my book. I think it's important to feel them all so they don't fester inside. That, I don't know, that sounds like terrible advice in my opinion, but then again, I'm a dude. I deal with it different.
I'm the right.
I don't deal with my emotions by coming on YouTube and crying for an audience. I deal with it by turning on Metroid and beating the crap out of Ravenbeak. But
I was about to say, I do
me.
it with PvP. I could kill people. Oh, wait. That sounds,
PvP?
Sounds a bit oddly familiar.
Hey, at least she's not going on and advocating for ladies to get a poison ring to anyway.
Yeah, I know, right? I just kill him in Minecraft. Well, in this case, Throne and Liberty, but
Yeah. One way I always make myself feel better is by harnessing that anger and sadness into creativity. I know that's not for everyone. That's not a bad piece of advice that on its own. And take your feelings and put them into your artwork. Depending on what you're working on, but us being a bunch of authors, we can actually work with that a little bit. But I mean, so far this is just all about touchy-feely my fifis.
Well, but here's the thing, because we are story writers, if worst comes to worst, if something really, really makes us mad, we can write about it.
That's right. And we don't write articles like this, though.
No.
I'm sorry. I mean, on one hand, I don't want to laugh at somebody who's having emotional issues. We've all been there at some point, and it's not something to make fun of, but to just blurt all this stuff out there right now, it's like this article's trying to be a therapy session or something.
I don't know. I don't get the base of this article. Like, we don't even really know who she is. It's kind of irrelevant, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Nothing about her becoming committed, though. Oh, you know what? This is from 2 days ago.
Oh, that explains it. Then why the hell is it even an article?
Yeah. So what Fu is seeing is probably from earlier today. All right, we'll go back to Bat Sauce's comment. It was special. Just Bats, whenever we do a stream, I need you to pop in and just type that in there so I can at random pop that up, because that just fits so much stuff we're talking about tonight. Fu Man Blue says her neck is 27 inches long. I'm pretty sure Ella is a gray. He says the New York Post has always been trashed. The Times is the one that it was prestigious once. The New York Times, is that the one that was known as the Gray Lady?
I don't know. I gave up on legacy media a long time ago.
WAPO is the other big one. Was.
Yeah, they're a joke too.
Was.
My unfortunately my a lot of my legacy media is now YouTube and Twitter or X or Twix or.
Same here. It's like I just channel surf on YouTube. I hardly ever watch traditional TV anymore. And the few times I do turn on my traditional TV, it's my Nintendo Switch and I'm using the YouTube app. So it's still YouTube. Oh, I finally, speaking of gaming, I finally, for the first time in years and decades, beat Metroid Prime Remastered.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I did it a bunch of times when it first came out, and I was younger and played games all the time. But like beating the final boss, the last save, you got to go through a whole room with a bunch of Metroids before you get to it, and then you got multiple phases to the final boss.
Games are a lot harder than people realize.
Yeah, but the gripe was, why did they put the save station over here? Make me run through this room, and then I get to this thing that's like, it's not horrifically difficult, but it's kind of a hassle to get up on these tracks and move across this hallway above the lava just to get to the boss room. And then if I die, I have to go back through the vertical room, fight all the Metroids, and go through that hassle above the lava in the hallway again before I can even restart the battle.
Yeah.
And so it's like by the time I died in the game, I had spent the last 25 minutes. It's like, I don't have time to go another round. So like a week later, I come back to it, try again, but I'm not trying again and again back to back. So I wasn't really improving. But and yesterday I picked it up and actually breezed through it. I'm like, that's it. I was struggling with it so hard, and this time I came through like nothing, and boom, got it. It was weird. Thanks, Fu. But yeah. So when that mission accomplished screen came on, I left it on my TV for like an hour.
I don't blame you, man. Like I said, a lot of the games now doesn't have the. I mean, most kids today don't understand playing like God of War and having to get to that save point before you die.
Yeah, I do appreciate that games nowadays tend to have a lot more, if not save spots, at least checkpoints where, like, if you get killed, you can restart from here. Because I mean, a lot of the difficulty was they were still in that arcade game mindset where they were designing games to be quarter munchers. And even on the console, the people who were making the games on console also made arcade games. So they still had that mindset of, and I'm not saying they shouldn't have difficulty to them. They absolutely should. But it's like when you have to like go through a whole bunch of hassle to get to the main thing you're trying to overcome, it's just frustrating. And I don't have the time to sit there and play for hours on end like I used to.
Yeah.
I understand we want a good, you want there to be a good challenge. You want there to be a lot of factor of playing to get good. But I got bills to pay and I don't have time to get good at a video game. It's not that I don't like the challenge. It's just that priorities mean I can't put that kind of focus on it anymore. So I do appreciate that they have easy modes and stuff, although for whatever reason, I guess I'm just a glutton for punishment. I still go on normal mode when I could put it in easy mode, but no, I'm like, I grew up as a gamer. I can handle this, and then I get wrecked.
Well,
Do you ever go back and play those games from when you were a kid? Like you used to breeze through and go, how did I do this?
Oh, Spyro. I used to have that game 100%, well, 99.9% complete. Beginning to end at freaking in less than 3 hours.
Yeah. Then you go back and try it now. What happens?
Oh, I haven't tried.
Like I really was a glutton for punishment a couple months ago, and I decided to play, what was it? Ghouls and Goblins, and or Super Ghouls and Ghosts, or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I forgot what, just how aggravating that game was. Dang!
Funny.
And I go back and try some of these old games. I'm like, I know I beat this. There's no way I could do it now. I used to do this like without half trying. How did I do this? You know? Well, like I said, I used to play for hours on end. As an adult with responsibilities, even if I wanted to commit that kind of time to it, I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And then there's the gaming journalists who go, this game's too hard. Gaming is your job.
Yeah.
Why are you complaining? I can't believe how many gaming journalists complained about how hard Metroid Dread was. I've beaten that game 6 different ways to Sunday.
Well, you gotta remember though, like I said, a lot of those old school games, like if you were to give them to kids now, they can't physically beat them. They don't know a lot of them don't know about timing. A lot of them don't understand combos. Some of those were very meticulous. I mean, do you remember Mario where you had to get at the right spot to jump in order to get the max flag?
Yeah, we kind of
You had to build
did
up
that almost thoughtlessly back then, though.
Yeah, you had to hit up speed and jump at the perfect spot in order to land on the top flag. Most people do not understand that precision anymore in games. Worse, there was always a 2-second delay. And you had to figure all of that out, which nowadays you don't have to. It doesn't require the same amount of brain funk as it does now.
Yeah. But I'm just surprised. I mean, the again, speaking of Metroid Dread, I've played that game. I've 100%ed it. I 100% on hard mode. And I don't have the same kind of time I used to. I don't understand why gaming journalists whose job is to be involved in video games said that game was too hard. I think that's the easiest Metroid to play.
But that's just it. These gaming journos aren't real gamers. If you actually look at their MOs, the games that they cover, yeah, they're quote unquote games, but technically Tetris is a game.
Yeah, I was playing that the other day until the blocks started coming down faster than the speed of fun.
Oh yeah, no, you remember Columns where it was Tetris Reverse, where you had to collapse a fully thing? Yeah, I have a record on my PlayStation 2 of 20 seconds. I can't beat that.
Yeah, I remember a 3D Tetris came out. It was like we were looking from top down instead of from the side, and I'm like, "Ooh, I want to play it." I never played it. I never got that game, and it looks so fascinating to me. But something tells me I probably, seeing how I don't like first-person games, I probably would not have liked that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, let's do the parting plugs.
I don't really have anything to plug yet. But it's coming. I'm working on it, as my title says. It's working. Well,
Yeah,
I'm working on it. But
Working on it, and I'm looking forward to it. And
it's taking a while, but it's pretty much going through a complete rewrite, but it's not at the same time.
a heavy polish.
It's going through a heavy polish. We had the rough draft, and then we had the alpha draft, and now we're taking the alpha notes and making it into the beta.
Sweet. Have you read my Shalar story yet?
It was a long time ago.
Okay, I didn't know if you had read it or not.
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do that yet. I don't even know who's still all in on it.
I guess it's just you and me now. But
I don't know. Otter maybe. I know Snow had one. I might have
Yeah,
accidentally
yeah.
lost it when we lost Gilded, but
oh, she had the epic poem.
she had the epic poem. But I mean,
Otter,
like I
Otter's
said,
got her story written.
if worse comes to worse, I can always just change the name and make it its own thing.
No need to. At some point, it would be cool if we could all put them together in a compilation for a physical copy. I still would like to do that,
I would love
including
that.
yours. But
I would love mine to be a physical copy. After the 300 pages and the
yeah, yours would be like the
hours.
main event. It's a full novel.
this is going on 2 years. It will see the light of day. I have put way too much time into it. I have put way too much other people's time into it. I even got drawings from both Skunks and Moon now.
Nice.
it's-
That's two good artists right there.
Yeah, I actually want to get 6 all together. You know how, like, in the old school books, they had drawings intermixed, about 5 or 6 intermixed throughout the book?
Yeah.
I want to do that. So,
I kind of would like to myself, but I have no idea how. Because
Well-
I self-published through KDP.
well, see, I cheat. I have an editor. I have a Riley.
I don't know. It's like there's certain things I got to check off about if I'm putting pictures in there or whatever. So I figured I'm just going to take the lazy way out and not use pictures. But I may change that up in the future. I worry about hitting wrong buttons when trying to publish.
Yeah, no, see, I have a cheat sheet. I have a DPR, so.
Shout out Daniel P. Riley. Whimsyland. Is it .com?
I believe
Yeah.
Org.
Whimsyland.
Whimsyland.
Whimsyland. Yeah. Yeah. If you got something you're working on and you need help getting the story from in your head to on the page, he is the man to speak to.
And he
You
is
wanna-
not afraid
you've heard of
to
standing on
tell
the
you
shoulders
it
of giants?
sucks.
He's the giant whose shoulders you and which you want to stand.
Okay, he doesn't say it sucks, but you know the teachers with the old pen. You remember the high school teachers with the red pens that you always feared turned into your stuff into?
Yep.
That's what it felt like the first 2 days of boot camp. But at the same time, because like I said, I'm literally going through an entire rewrite. Rewriting quite a bit, adding in chapters. I mean, I even added in a kahuna. Come on. But so you actually really do learn a lot. I didn't have
Oh,
a
I
damn
can
clue what I
imagine.
was doing. And now as we're going through, because, you know, we're slowly making our way, because I can only do 1 or 2 appointments a week. So
Yeah.
it's taking time.
Oh, especially with the time of year we're coming up to.
Oh, yeah. Hell no.
Your time is going to be. Yeah, your time is
What's time?
not so plentiful at the moment.
Oh yeah, but so he has different ways of doing it. I mean, you could just give him a full manuscript. He reads through it, gives you notes, whatnot, or you know, you could do a 1 by 1. I do a sit down with him, but that's because my story sounded like a really bad My Immortal when I first wrote it.
It wasn't that bad. I read a good chunk of it. That's not comparable at all.
It's getting there. It's getting better. But it's like a total night and day difference now. And like I said, I'm learning while I'm going through this. So like we're getting through some of those, and then I'd like read ahead. I'm like, all right, you're not gonna like this. And he goes, okay, Weiss. And I'm like, it's storytelling here. There's a lot of Az's here. So
But that's the stuff we need to hear before we do things like, what's it called, publishing?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he really does know his stuff for a regular indie guy. I mean, how many English courses I have taken in college and paid thousands and thousands of dollars to institutions so I could get a freaking piece of paper that looks like it's been photoshopped. I have learned way more from him than I did any of those assholes.
It's kind of weird. I graduated high school. I went through 1 year of tech school for spinning wrenches. I never thought I'd be writing. You know?
I didn't think I would either. I don't even like writing, but I wrote a whole damn novel apparently.
And go ahead, Raven.
I didn't like English class.
I didn't either. I refused to read. I skipped. I didn't fudge. I just outright blew off all my book reports. But somehow people like the way I write. And I can't take credit for how I write. I just do it. It's like, it's a blessing God gave me, and I just hope I can use it properly now that I realize I have this loaned talent that I hope I can do what he wants me to do with it. You know, it's like, it's not something I can brag about. It's just something that's there. So it's more like a responsibility to do something worthwhile with it, you know?
See, I hate to sound like this, but I'm just gonna say, I had a feeling from God that I needed to improve my hobby. Well, my hobby at the time was roleplay and story character development for roleplay, like, you know, D&D and stuff. So, you know what? I'm doing it. I took classes. I'm getting better. My rough draft's getting there eventually, maybe someday. I mean, we're in the final. Okay, so I wrote the book in 3 different acts because it was easier that way for me. We're in the final act. We're there on the, technically it's my 3rd draft, but to him it's like my 2nd draft. But I mean, it's taking a while, but it's getting there.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to reading it. So take your time, get it right. Because like you said, you've had a lot of people, not just yourself, but you've had others put in a lot of time and effort into this. So yeah, take your time, make sure it's properly polished. Because once it's out there forever.
And in all honesty, I can hands down, because I have literally physically changed myself to do this project. And I'm not exaggerating. We all know this. I have physically and spiritually changed myself so that I could write the story. Whatever is done and finished is literally my heart and soul and everything I had. If nobody else likes it, I don't care, because Heavenly Father knows that it was the best I can do.
Yeah, and that might also be something worth discussing maybe next week. How writing changed us.
I don't know if I'm here next week. I'm not sure. My schedule's questionable.
Oh, that's right. At some point, Maji, you and I are going to have to hop on and have a whole discussion about how writing changed us in the process.
Well, it's physically changed me.
Well, that's good.
Okay, so before I started writing, not only was I like 60 pounds heavier, but I was so angry at God. I couldn't pray. I was yelling and mad and hurtful in order to write this, because I am a very... Okay, so please don't think I'm crazy, but I am I do have science degree. I am a
We
nerd.
all are.
But so the very first rule of physics and chemistry or energy, anything like that, matter cannot be created nor destroyed, just transferred.
Right.
Energy, same situation, cannot be created or destroyed, just reused. Hey, Andrew. But so
Andrew Campbell.
I did not want to work on a story because, yes, I'm making it up as I go. Yes, I'm creating it, but I'm not actually creating it. I'm reflecting who I am. How many times have we read a comic or read a story that you could tell the author didn't give a damn about, that they didn't care about, or you were just getting this really bad feeling while you're reading it because something felt off? Have you ever guys felt that before?
Yes, there are times I read through a scenario over and over again going, something's not right here and I don't know what, I just know it's not right.
Yeah, and that is what I didn't want. I know we started this as a joke. It was supposed to be fun. It was supposed to be happy. And I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't pray. I couldn't do anything because of the way my life was at the time. So the only thing I could do was go, all right, I know we're not on speaking terms, but help me write a story worth telling. And that was it. That started everything. Because then I had to physically get my mind out of my depression, out of my funk, to clear it so that it wouldn't reflect in the story, because I am a firm believer that you can feel the artist's or the writer's feelings when you're reading the story. I didn't want my funk, my insecurities being reflected in the story. I wanted a story worth telling. And
That's
in order
awesome.
to do that, I had to change my mind.
Yeah, and it's
And
weird. Writing is part of what helped me come back to God myself. There was some stuff that happened that kind of started me in that direction, but somehow writing the book, I ended up going through my own mind changing as well, and it was almost like I was being herded back to Him.
Yeah. I could not physically work on the book if I wasn't feeling it. So I forced myself at like 3 or 4 in the morning just to meditate with listening to just instrumental music to try to clear my mind of all my negative thoughts, all my insecurities, all my demons, and just focus on the story.
Blue Man Blue says, as long as you don't confuse the best you could do in the moment for the best you'll ever be able to do, you always get better.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Campbell says, creation comes from the soul.
It does. I believe that.
And the soul comes from the Lord. And there's no denying it anymore. It's like, I couldn't have written what I wrote without Him.
We are made in His image.
All right, animation. Sorry, I went on a tangent.
See you, animation.
Have a great night. Good. It was good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
But so yeah, no, that writing this has physically changed me.
Yeah, well, I've picked up the sword again. I've also picked up archery, kind of sort of archery. I'm working on it. I got to build up some muscles again. But yeah, and that's kind of to try to figure out some of the sword stuff.
I don't know if I could do archery again. My shoulders are so...
I used to do it as a
sore all the
kid.
time now, so I don't know if I could handle it in my shoulders.
No, I grew up on it as a kid. My aim might be off, but it won't be too hard to get back to.
Yeah,
I was out there with a compound bow. I wish I had the explosive tips like Bo and Luke Duke. It's like, I'm gonna be like them Duke boys.
yeah.
Left-handed recurve bow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, well, I got a classic English longbow. Unfortunately, it came from China, so I honestly do not know if it is the correct weight that it says it is. It feels like it's about 10 pounds heavier.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I got it. I got that so I could shoot from either side of the bow and from either hand. Because that's something else I'm kind of messing around with is just trying to exercise both arms a bit, and if you only go from the one side, you're only exercising the certain muscles from that one direction.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is that the character that I'm writing about is ambidextrous, and he wields two swords, and so that's also part of the thing with and eventually ends up doing more archery stuff. But I used to fence in college, and did some things with various different swords and stuff. But it's been so long since I've done that, and how does swinging two swords around work without hitting yourself? Because I don't know if you've seen some of the Shadiversity stuff, but they've been going through and doing kind of like the Darwin Awards for Mall Ninja weapons, and this one kid, quite literally, he's got two Mall Ninja blades, one in either hand, and he's not paying attention to stuff, and he quite literally cuts his arm. Because he's trying to come back across, one across the other, and he ends up cutting, and it's like, oof. I'm just glad, because there's the two of them there, and they both have their own things, and one kind of like fumbles around and does something stupid with his, but then it gets to the other guy, and he pulls out the two blades, and he's swinging them around, and he's not paying attention, and whack, and it's just, oh, ouch.
Now, there's something we should do a collab on one day. Just get together, do an action comedy adventure called Mall Ninja. About a mall security guard that has to end up using all the weird novelty items for defense or something. That would be a blast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And also that English longbow made in
China.
Oh, yeah. But the other
goes along getting the Mall Ninja weapons like power-ups. Finally brings out the big guns. He gets the
Jewish space laser.
Yeah, and sorry I was late tonight. I'm probably going to be late again next week. It sounds like that they want to do probably another meeting Monday night, since they got such a large turnout tonight.
I have no room
actually
to
a
talk.
good thing, but yeah, but we were actually getting ready to wrap up, and you popped in and kind of extended the life of the show. And I like your audio avatar. I support open carry swords.
Yeah. Well, I was I bought a couple swords, and I was kind of looking at taking it up for the holidays to show family. And since it was where I grew up, I kind of know, okay, this is how I need to pack it for there, but how exactly do I need to pack it for Texas? Well, back in 2017, they passed a new law that just like open carry whatever you want, the large blades. So, normally a bunch of municipalities say, if it's under such and such a length, you can't do it, it has to be a foldable blade, or, it has to be smaller or whatever else. Well, apparently with over 6.5 inches, I think it is, Texas just doesn't care. And it's kind of reversal of laws that they passed back in the late 1800s due to issues with like the KKK and other factions running around having knife fights in the streets back in the late 1800s. And so that they had those laws on the books, and now we don't have those problems anymore, so let's just revoke them.
Awesome. I mean, I would be very surprised if Texas, of all states, had a problem with you carrying blades. I thought they'd be all for it.
Yeah, well, that was the thing, is so apparently there is enough noise that they said, oh, okay, we'll just remove that law from the 1800s since we don't need it anymore. But I guess it also kind of depends on, are your neighbors reporting you or not?
Andrew Campbell asks, so claymores are fine?
Apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, well, even spears. Like you want to carry a halberd around? Great, go for it. The only issue is that you should not brandish whatever the weapon is at another person. And so I took the katana that I got over to the bullion dealer this past week because I had talked to him like the previous time that I came, and I said, hey, I got this. I showed him pictures and stuff. Do you want to see what it actually looks like? And he said, yeah, bring it on into the store. So this last time I brought it into the store, he pulled it out and he's like, oh crap, that is sharp. Like he didn't even have to test it out. He's just looking at it. He's like, oh crap.
So your main character is ambidextrous, or is it a side character?
Yes, the main character who was the character that I played in an AD&D game way back, starting in the 90s and then into the early 2000s, based on second edition rules. And he was actually a fighter mage. He almost qualifies to be what was that elven kit? I can't remember. It's like I want to say a blade, but a mage blade or something like that. Basically, a spellcaster that can also use his sword. So, like, using the sword doesn't interrupt his casting. But because he's a half elf, elves normally don't train anybody other than elves in that stuff, and so they didn't qualify him, and so that's part of his story.
Yeah. I only have one character that's ambidextrous, and she's not even the main character. Although I might be soon starting to try and write a series of stories with her as the main character. But
yeah, I also did a bunch of weird and crazy stuff. Like got kind of
age.
Yeah, not the Battle Mage. It was the other one because it's like they have their one specific select sword or something, and if they lose that sword, they have to go and get an exact replacement or something.
Now, is he wielding two swords of equal length, or?
So initially, it kind of the book kind of starts out after his last night of I don't remember what it's called, but basically he had to go through and work a period of time in the Elven army, and he's just finished that up, and he goes, spell sword? That sounds familiar. That may be it. He was basically in one of the scout units, and so he would do participate in ambushes and stuff. And because he's ambidextrous, he was able to, you may be going around a tree one direction, you may be going around the tree the other direction. He didn't care because he could go either way. And various other different things, but ends up wielding two elvish leaf blades initially. He ends up becoming a sailor because he's trying to track down his father because he's half elf. And then he ends up getting captured. He loses his swords. He ends up getting other swords during a rescue mission. Escapes. Ends up selling those to get some better stuff. And then eventually, like way later on, he ends up with both a flame tongue and a frostbrand. And I think the flame tongue was a bastard sword, so it's a hand and a half, and I think the other was a long sword, so basically an arming sword.
The Chaos Prime has joined us. He or she says, "What's up? How y'all doing? Thanks for joining us."
Chaos Prime. Yeah, I'm kind of. This first book is kind of going through his background and stuff up until probably because it's the whenever they're captured and they're having to do indentured servitude. Basically, they're working for free, right? Mm-hmm. And they escape because there's another group that was also captured, and the whole elvish army comes in to rescue them, sets them all loose and stuff. And basically during that process, he meets all of the other characters, or all of the initial characters in the party, and then a couple more added in, and then a couple more added in later on. But it was an interesting way to kind of throw us all together rather than you meet in a bar.
As every good story does.
Yeah.
Yeah, my ambidextrous character, she wields a couple katanas. And since she was so nimble and dexterous, the elves actually taught her dual wielding the swords of equal length, because that wasn't something she could initially do.
Nice.
It's like the elves could do it because they're all dexterous and everything, but since she had that dexterity on par with them, they trained her in how to dual wield equal length. But her katanas have special handles so they don't slide out of her. Because katanas, they're actually two-handed swords, but she had special handles so she could do it one-handed, use each of them one-handed without her hand slipping off the handle.
They're kind of more almost like the bastard sword or hand and a half, where you can use them two-handed or single-handed. I recently saw a YouTube video with a sensei who had never picked up a two-handed longsword from Europe before. And so he was kind of messing around with it. And he's like, this is kind of sort of like a katana, except it's got a blade on either side. And then he's like trying to figure out, can he do the same things with the katana or can he do the same thing with the two-handed longsword that he could do with the katana? And one of the things was quite literally throwing the blade out to give yourself, holding it single-handed and then like thrusting it out and letting it slide into your hands. And one of the nice things with the bastard sword is it has that pommel at the bottom of it, which actually allows it to slap solid in your hand and not completely slide out, which that's one of the problems with the katana, is that unless you're holding it correctly and you know exactly where the back, I can't remember what they're called now. There's the little metal things that end up on the katana handle. If you know where those are, you can actually use those as well to kind of sort of help brace. But unless the bottom is actually flared out, it's not as, you have to time it just right to re-grab it.
Yeah, because the katana doesn't have a pommel. It's just the handle ends. And that's why now my character, she's not in a medieval setting. It's actually a high-tech setting. Yeah. So her handles were actually made to, when she changes her grip from one hand to two, it actually, part of the handle will constrict while the part she's not grabbing onto widen to keep it from sliding out of her hand. In fact, there she is.
Yeah, I should take some pictures of the handle on mine to show where the metal pieces are on that, because like one thing that I noticed is that
handles there, if that helps for reference.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to double check on mine because there's like I think mine are lions or something, but it's underneath the wrap. It's above the skin that's underneath.
Yeah.
But it's below the wrap. But the figure, if you just grab the katana in the dark, you can tell which direction the blade is going to go based upon where those are in your hand. Because one is on one side higher up for the one hand, and the other is on the other side towards the bottom for the other hand. But I don't remember which side they're on.
Yeah. Although her most notable weapon is the electrically charged whip.
Nice.
And the Colt, You've got a good old-fashioned Colt that just slings lead. Gotta have one of those.
My boomstick.
And her bolt pistol. So yeah, she's got all sorts of cool stuff. She's outfitted out. But the reason I brought this page up here is I don't know if you guys heard me talking about. I had been searching everywhere for the sketches of the wavelength, and they were finally found. I wanted to show them off.
I saw those. Those kind of remind. Well, maybe I didn't see that particular one, but it just kind of reminds me of some of the stuff that I was drawing in like high school and college.
Oh, cool. Yeah, this is the top-down view, so you see the shape that the plane is. It is a space-capable plane, and the tail section actually detaches as a separate shuttle. But there's the view from the front, although
Okay.
the tail shuttle, you wouldn't quite see it right there. You'd probably, you would, a lot of that would probably be blocked by the shape of the plane itself in front.
Yeah.
But
Maybe further back or something. Kind of like, I'm kind of sort of imagining it like the
There's the back.
what was the dang it, the Marvels, the TV series, Shield, Agents of Shield. You know, they have the mothership, and then they've got the little scout on the back or whatever.
Yep. Actually, to help when designing this, I said I want a cross between the Zephyr and Samus's gunship,
Nice.
and this is actually Sonnet's brother Joshua who sketched these out.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So this is the rear view. There's right here. This is a ramp that lowers to a cargo area. It's about the size of a Dreamliner. It's almost the size of a passenger plane. But that ramp comes down. They got a couple vehicles in there. So yeah, much like the Agents of Shield Zephyr. Although the tail becoming a separate shuttle was completely his idea on his own. That was straight up Josh's idea. He goes, well, because of the engine systems, you don't really need all those tail fins. And if it's spending time in space, what do you need the aerodynamics? I was like, it spends a lot of time in the atmosphere, but it is mostly in space. And he's like,
yeah.
Well, then you don't really need all the stabilizers there. How about I just make that you don't have an escape shuttle. Why don't I just turn that into a shuttle? I'm like, yes, please. So that's
nice.
what he came up with. And go back to the front view. Yeah, out past the engines, the wings can actually fold upwards. It does have VTOL ability. But I like what he did. The engines are integrated into the wings rather than being potted in the cells beneath. And also in the front, there's an elevator that comes down to the ground, so they can exit the front or the back.
Okay.
But
Actually, it's kind of cool.
there's like it's about 3 decks inside, and they can access the engine pods from inside the ship to do work on it if they need to.
Have you looked at, I think, is it the Virgin? I think, wasn't it Virgin had a, was it a VTOL? No, not VTOL. Like low space, it was like an airplane, but also it could do low Earth orbit or something, because it could actually, or maybe it was the UK that was working on engines for that. I don't remember. It's been a couple of years.
Thank you, Fu. I haven't heard of this. Did you say it was from Virgin Airlines?
I think it was either their design or they were working on one, but I think also the UK or somebody else was working on maybe European. Yeah, so it'd be like an airplane that would fly through the air here on Earth, but then once it reached a certain altitude, the air is no longer going through the engines, right? So there's no atmosphere, so you have to burn something other than air going through the turbines. So it has to switch over to like a jet, or not a jet, a rocket style combustion engine that's actually burning something and blowing it out the back.
That's probably not it, is it?
Nope, that looks like one of their, getting close to that, but I don't think that was the one that I saw. Maybe it was the UK one that I was looking at, or European Space Union, or.
Do any of these look close to what you're talking about? Maybe this one.
Oh, that may be it. Maybe, possibly.
Oh no, technically Concorde did it right, and then they ended the Concorde program because of one accident.
Yeah. But the big issue is that, like, in the atmosphere, you can use like normal jet turbine engines, but because it blows the air through. But once you get up into space, there's no air to blow. There's nothing you're thrusting against. You quite
Right.
literally just have to turn it into rockets and push in whichever direction that you want it to go.
Yeah. And Fu, I remember, I think it was over a year ago, you mentioned I was trying to figure out heat expulsion because, in space you can only radiate heat away. And he mentioned collecting. Have a great night, Fu. But yeah, Fu is the one who gave me the idea. There's collectors on there to just gather space dust particles to and pretty much it compresses them into rods to use tactile heat transfer. You forces the heat into the rods and just ejects them behind for a cooling system. Because there's no radiator on there to like just expel heat, and I needed a way to do it. Plus, the ship does have nanotechnology. There's a vat where they just put all sorts of junk in there, and the nanobots take it in as mass. So if there's damage to the hull, the nanobots rush out there to patch the damage.
Nice.
But I mean, that's only going to get you so far. You're not going to be able to that can only do so much. It's not like completely foolproof,
Ion engines are kind of cool, but they're really slow moving because you're pulling in like solar panels and then you're ejecting electricity. But one of the other things, if you've seen Deep Space Nine, the captain and his son build a sun sailing ship, and that's been one of the other things because we know that the sun ejects flares and other stuff, but besides the flares, it's just constantly pushing outwards, and so
you're not going to win drag races with that thing, but it's going to have a phenomenal top speed.
Yeah, it would almost be like sailing across the ocean. You're catching the air off the waves and stuff, and it's dragging you along, but instead of through the atmosphere, you're flying through space.
Yeah, the solar sail thing is it would work best for sending probes way, way, way out.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, as far as you're not going to beat anybody off the line with that. That's probably something you deploy once you get the ship up to speed with thrusters.
Maybe. But I do know that there's somebody that came up with a way to possibly do warp speed like they do in Star Trek. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a fascinating thing. And basically, you create a bubble in front and a bubble behind or something, and it basically shuttles the ship from one spot to the next, and you just keep doing that over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think I read something about that, or at least maybe listened to a video on it while driving, so I couldn't look at the screen. I remember seeing or hearing something about that. That does sound very familiar.
Yeah, I think it's been around for...
It's almost like some form of cavitation.
Yeah, it's been around for 10 or 15 years plus, I think, was when the theory came out. And I think NASA has been working on stuff, but of course NASA is slow as usual.
Well, since my ship does not have warp drive, because warp drive won't traditionally work in their reality. They're in an electric-driven universe rather than a gravity-driven universe. So they don't have black holes, wormholes, any of that. What they do have are densities. Like you know how energy and matter are kind of interchangeable. Matter is just condensed energy.
Yeah.
And the electromagnetic spectrum is a spectrum. Well, so is reality. Everything is reverberating at a bit of a different frequency, so you have multiple densities, not dimensions, densities, vibrating at different frequencies, occupying the same space at the same time, but out of phase with each other. And what they do for FTL is the ship will shift exactly between two densities. So while they're there, they're out of phase with physical matter, but they have opposing electromagnetic forces coming from both densities hitting the ship at the same time, and it launches it like a railgun.
Interesting.
And they're out of phase with physical matter, so they just keep going faster and faster and faster.
You were talking about nanobots, and I'm thinking about silver all the time. One of the more recent things that they figured out is, at least at the nano level, silver is self-healing.
Really?
Yeah. So like they cut.
I'm gonna have to
like,
look that up. That sounds pretty cool.
they cut like silver particles at the nano level apart, and they grew back together.
Reality is far more amazing than we give it credit for.
Yeah.
I will have to look into that. That sounds way too interesting not to.
I'm wondering if silver is like some space metal that we just think it's silver, but it's actually this magical technology thing or something.
Well, it is the most conductive metal we know of, isn't it?
Yeah. And my understanding is that all of the silver that we have has only ever come from asteroids.
If that were the case, it would be more rare than gold, I would think.
So we currently mine silver, I think, at the rate of about 7-to-1 to gold. But one of the things is that silver is usually found whenever they're actually mining other metals. So like they're mining copper or nickel or whatever else, and they'll find silver in with it.
Okay. By the way, do you have fictional metals in your universe?
Just the normal stuff that D&D has, like the what was it? Dang it, the super hard metal. Now I can't remember what it is.
Adamantine?
Yeah. Which I think that's been in there, but it's weird and interesting because as I've gotten into precious metals and other things, I'm discovering that platinum, in Dungeons and Dragons, they use platinum pieces as one of the coinage types, and I don't think that they really use platinum until Europe invaded the Caribbean and discovered it within like the South America, the southern USA area. But the problem was that they didn't know what it was, and they were counterfeiters were using it to counterfeit silver.
Or really what they were carrying was more valuable.
Yeah. But they didn't know it at the time because they weren't familiar with it. And then at some point, I think they tried to make it into coinage, but it was too hard of a metal for them to do anything with. And so they just gave up with it until Russia made, I think it was Olympic coins. I don't remember if it was the 70s or the 80s. And then other people thought, if they can do it, maybe we should try doing it as well. and so now we've got platinum is now a precious metal that people are using quite a bit more of.
That's kind of cool.
So not really a medieval fantasy type metal.
Yeah. Yeah. My equivalent would be Mayim. And it's not found on Earth. But it's not quite the same as adamant or adamantine either. It is not conductive, very, very difficult to enchant. And the thing about it is it can be worked. And the way it's worked is you have to bathe it in a particular set of sonic pulses. When you do that, it'll accept heat. And you use heat to like cut it, mold it, whatever. But the instant you stop those pulses, it just sheds all that heat and goes solid, and you can't budge it. So it in fact, more wealthy stellar civilizations will use it to coat the hull of their spaceships to resist the heat of a star, because that's all it does. Is the problem being you don't want to encase it, or else you have no way to expel heat building up inside. Yeah. It's better insulator than conductor. So
turns it into a stove
or anything. But yeah, it just resists heat entirely. You can put that inside a blast furnace, let it sit in there, and then as soon as you turn it off, you can reach over, grab that, and it's cool. It doesn't retain heat at all.
Interesting.
On the other end, I have Fleckle, which is a soft metal, and it's more conductive than silver.
Yeah, I've not really gone through stuff much other than what was currently existing in Dungeons and Dragons. And right now, most of the stuff that I'm writing is the stuff that we went through in the game campaign. Granted, there's going to be some small changes and stuff, but once I get done with that, I have some other ideas of where I want to take stuff because I've got other characters in the world as well.
I'm actually surprised, because you've done a lot of research into different types of metals. I thought you would have had a few of them.
Well, part of it is just the magical properties of the things that we currently have are pretty surprising. Because silver is a weird magical metal in and of itself. And we've named off some of them, but then it's also antibacterial.
Colloidal silver, people use that as antibiotic.
Well, there is that, but if you put silver in water, it helps keep the water purified. Also, if you take one of those 90% silver quarters from way back when and you stick one in both of your shoes don't, or your feet, even if your feet sweat, it tends to decrease how bad that is.
Wow. There's a reason there's so much mythology around silver.
Oh yeah,
Bullets and stuff like that.
there's a reason why it was a vampire deterrent, and back in the olden days when they were so afraid of vampires, because in order to work with silver, they viewed it as a pure metal.
Oh yeah.
That's why like the old vampire stories and stuff, the silver cross, the silver bullet, all of that is a cleansing metal. It's a purifying metal. It was used to, like you said, clean water. It was a holy metal. You'd only really find it around churches.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is gold and silver are non-porous, and so they do not. If you've got multiple people drinking out of the same cup, you might get some disease or something stuck in one of the porous spots within a cup or something. But with gold and silver, there's nowhere for it to hide.
You know what's going to be interesting to see someday? The
What?
transparent gold.
Transparent gold.
Can you imagine that? Just trying to conjure it in my mind is difficult to conceive of.
Yeah.
But I guess that's biblical, though. I think the walls of New Jerusalem will be made from it. That's where I heard about it, is studying the end times and Revelations, and it mentioned New Jerusalem will be made out of transparent gold. And I'm trying to just imagine what that would look like.
Very clear.
Translucent gold is kind of an odd thing to try and comprehend.
Yeah. I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah, I'm wondering if some of it is figurative over literal.
No, I mean, we have white gold, so it wouldn't surprise me.
All right, then. Star Trek.
Possibly.
Transparent aluminum.
Yeah.
It's probably a good time to start wrapping up. Raven,
Deal.
anything you want to do for a parting plug tonight?
Nope. I've got a number of projects. Unfortunately, I got a little bit of writing done this weekend, but not enough to say anything about it. But I guess Brian Coppin's the Paladins book series,
Record of the Paladins.
and also the Lord Otter's book.
Steel and Stormbright.
Doesn't he have book 2 coming out, or is it already out?
That one I have right here, and I think his book 2 will be early next year.
Okay.
which I keep bugging him like, hurry up. He's like, patience is a virtue. I said, no, it's not. Hurry up. No, but in all seriousness, Otter, if you're listening, take all the time you need. I'm going to quote a guy from Nintendo. I don't know who at Nintendo said this. It might have been Yoshio Sakamoto. I'm not sure. But I'll apply it to books too. He said, a delayed game is eventually good. A rushed game is bad forever. I think the same applies to books. So yeah.
Oh, we'll see. Hopefully people like it, and if they don't, oh well, it is what it is. Everybody's different.
And I'm reading the Kawasaki Saga right now. I gotta finish that up. And then I have a book from A.C. Pritchard I need to read through after that. I bought that a few months back. I still haven't cracked it yet. I need to get through that. So I do want to start getting back to doing versus battles. I only did one Ares Arena video. I mean, I did a second, but it was more of a gag than an actual versus matchup.
But it was fun.
It was. It was a lot of fun. I sometimes occasionally open up with it. The Covenant of Brendock versus Samus Aran, where she blows up their planet. Maji, anybody you want to shout out right now?
Well, we shouted out who I would. We shouted out Animated Moon, Daniel P. Riley, Skunks Workshop. Skunks has got a game coming out, guys. Keep a lookout for that.
Oh yeah.
And I look forward to playing it.
That game looks frustrating.
It does. Nice.
Right off the bat, man, that looks frustrating.
All right, and you can check out my stuff on Amazon, Haley Star Bad Kitty, and the follow-up Bad Kitty Haley's World. I am currently working on book 3 and 4, which is Mystified Investigations and United States Stellar Marshals. You can also find me on the X Twitter, True Social, and Minds under Frequency Studios, and Substack as well under Frequency Studios. Very soon, I should be having New World Detectives, The Legend of Shalar, a short story coming out that I'll be putting on Substack. Takes place 6 months after Bad Kitty Haley's World. If you enjoyed this presentation, hit the like, and if you didn't, I appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you next time, and God bless. I see you, James. At least
Hey.
Hey, James! Check out James's Glimmer Leaf. It's actually really cute.
Yeah, in fact, I'm just going to interrupt the whole outro.
Yeah, just let it
For
be the
that.
outro.
Where is it? Yeah, I'll let it be the outro.
The undead are planning to attack, and it's up to Gwendolyn the gnome to deliver word to the humans before they're taken by surprise. Glimmerleaf, link in the description.
Good night, everybody.